दूसरे में डाल दो गन्ना तीन में डाल दो, 3 या 4 में डाल दो। दिखाओ भाई इनको जरा टॉट दिखाओ। दो को मत टच करना।
Good morning to all of you present today. After the success of 2-day pre-admit conference on this gracious event of 11th International Conference on Advances in Metrology, I, Dr. Komal Papna, extend my warm wishes on behalf of CSIR National Physical Laboratory Fraternity, the custodian of National Standards and Metrology Society of India. I convey my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guests, special invitees, distinguished speakers, and delegates. There is a saying by Max Planck, an experiment is a question which science poses to nature, and a measurement is the recording of nature's answer. The International Conference, Advances in Metrology, is one of the major scientific events organized in India once in 3 years in the field of metrology. The main objective of ADMIT series is to provide a healthy platform for metrologists, technocrats, researchers, and students of various NMIs, laboratories, and institutions to participate and share their knowledge and experience in identified thrust R&D areas and foster collaborations with the fellow scientists from all over the world. Because of the present pandemic situation, ADMIT 2022 is organized in both online as well as offline mode. I now invite the dignitaries to occupy the seats on the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Venu Gopal Achanta, Director, CSIR NPL, Dr. D.K. Aswal, President, MSI, and Director, Health, Safety and Environmental Group, BARC, Professor Asan Gupta, former President of MSI and former Director, CSIR NPL, Dr. Sanjay Yadav, Conference Chair, ADMIT 2022 and Chief Scientist at CSIR NPL, and Dr. S.K. Jaiswal, Convener of this ADMIT 2022 and Head Fluid Flow Metrology. Thank you, sir. Professor Grover is also there, who will be joining online for this conference. Okay, welcome, sir. I really welcome you in this conference. I now request Ms. Mansi to present a floral bouquet to our chief guest, Professor Venu Gopal Achanta. I now request Ms. Deepa to present a floral bouquet to Dr. D.K. Aswal, sir. Thank you. I request Ms. Mansi to present a floral bouquet to Professor Asan Gupta, sir. Thank you, sir. Continuing our tradition, may I now request our chief guest, Professor Venu Gopal Achanta, sir, to light the auspicious lamp and mark commencement of the inaugural ceremony. I also request other dignitaries on the dais to accompany our chief guest. Let each diya you light bring a glow of happiness on your face and enlighten your soul. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now I invite Dr. D.K. Aswal, sir, to deliver a welcome address. Dr. D.K. Aswal is the former director of CSIR NPL and is currently the president of Metrology Society of India. He obtained his PhD from Mumbai University. He was a visiting scientist, honored guest professor, visiting professor to various renowned international universities and received many awards like S.K. Date Memorial Lecture Award, Pune University, as well as Science and Technology Excellence Award, Government of Uttarakhand. He is currently working as Director, Health, Safety and Environmental Group, BARC. Welcome.
On behalf of Metrology Society of India, I welcome you all. National Physical Laboratory is a very unique laboratory in the country. It has the responsibility of maintaining the national standards of measurements. It is the National Metrology Institute of India. The MSI is the Society of Scientists, those who are working or retired, giving their services to the nation to ensure that the meteorological traceability is passed on to the bottom of the pyramid. I worked at NPL almost more than 5 years, learned many things, but one thing is sure, the building block of the science, the technology, the industrial growth, the policy formation, all depends upon how accurate are our results, how precise are our results. We did during that 5.5 years time to ensure that we maintain our primary standards, not only maintain primary standards, but they also recognized. And therefore, there was a need to trademark some of the things. As we know, one of the way is to ensure the traceability to the unbroken chain of calibrations. Other one is to make these certified reference materials. And certified reference materials are directly to your instrument where you can calibrate your equipment against your certified reference materials. To give a name or to brand to this certified reference material of India, we trademark it as a Bharatiya Research Laboratory BND. This BND is very, very important, particularly when we want to ensure the quality of our daily consumable products, including your drinking water, including your food, medicines. Of course, we have produced more than 115, but in my opinion, these numbers should go in thousands. And therefore, as the MSI president, I keep on arguing about the BNDs at various platforms. As we know that India is the gold friendly or gold loving country, jewelries are our in blood. You know, everybody, each house, each woman in this country, we use the gold jewelries. But that is our responsibility to ensure that the gold which we get is of the desired quality. And therefore, the BND 4201, that is a 4N pure gold, that was our first BND. Subsequently, many BNDs are being formed. The BIS, who puts the trademark on the jewelries, now they have ensured that the gold purity should be compared with respect to the BNDs. And a few weeks ago, I was at India Government Mint, those who are manufacturing these BNDs. They are very happy that the sale of these BNDs has tremendously gone up. In fact, they wanted to make the BNDs of other carats, 18, 20, 22 carats as well. I am also happy that for drinking water, the ASWI has taken up this responsibility, and to my last knowledge, they had made 37 BNDs, and they have captured a good market of India. The cement BND is another one. Most importantly, and today evening talk, I will tell that how important it is to use the reference materials for the cancer treatment and diagnosis. As we know that as the age grows up in any country, one of the prominent diseases is cancer. And the cancer can be diagnosed only by the radiation, and that can only be treated by the radiation at the final stage. Now this radiation dose has to be optimized, and that requires the BNDs of radionuclides. Though BRC, who is the designated institute for analyzing radiation, they have been producing these reference materials, but my wish is that these reference materials which are used in the ionizing radiation should be termed as the BNDs. And for that, NPL, when I was the director of NPL, I got the MOU signed with BRC, and now we'll ensure that these BNDs, they make the international impact. Just to give a history now, today we have got roughly 397 hospitals, those who deal with the cancer treatment or diagnosis. And you'll be surprised that in 1980s, the number were only 5 or 6 in the country. The radiation worker, they are over 2.5 lakhs in the country. So the application of radiations, it is going very rapidly. And we have to ensure that the dose which these patients or doctors or the workers, they get is optimized. Another important trademark which we did at NPL was for the Indian Standard Time. And I'm happy that Sanera, the young PhD student, the Meherwan and Dr. Sanjay Yadav, they wrote an article in Nature Physics, Measure for Measure. It is a commendable job, wherein they highlighted how the SI units, which are now defined in terms of the fundamental constants, are so key for the futuristic life of the human being. As we know that the pandemic, we had very negative impact of this, but the positive side of it was we became digital. And the way India has grown leaps and bounds in the digital transformation was phenomenal. If you see the COVID ad, if you are vaccinated 1, 2, and 3, you get your digital certificate at your WhatsApp, giving all the details of it. And imagine we have got billions of the people who got this kind of doses. We'll be happy, and that is where we have an edge. Even in the developed nation like America, still they issue the certificate with handwritten. And when my daughter, she came to meet us, and we were entering in a mall, so he was asking, it is very surprising that America still uses the handwritten slips. So that is where the Indian power on the digital economy has come. If you go nowadays, any shop, including a vegetable shop, you buy 5 rupees or 20 rupees. Just you do the UPI. A QR scan and your money is paid. So that kind of digital transformation, in my opinion, is the highest and the biggest in the world. Now, when we are entering in that digital era, the biggest threat to digital transformation is the cyber security. The cyber crimes are taking place at rampant. And therefore, the digital cyber crime requires the digital forensic. If there is a crime taken place, how to find out and how to find out the culprit. And that is where the Indian Spine Time, which we have trademarked, is going to be the key. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs, they have, which is the legal metrology component of India, they have funded NPL for 5 secondary stations, timing centers. The MIT, I am very happy to say that MIT has finally acknowledged that the Indian Standard Times generated by the National Physical Laboratory need to be disseminated across the country. And the CERTIN, which is certifying agencies for time stamping in the country, has already issued the circular by which all the servers in the country need to be synchronized with the NPL time or the NIC NKL time. So this is a big feat. But remember, our responsibilities are increasing very, very rapidly. So ensuring that each and everyone gets the certified time, and that is where the NPL really need to put a very, very serious efforts. If NPL does not do it, I'm sure that the government will have the alternative options. ISRO, definitely they are keen for a long, long time to hold this. Then the third important thing, which was very, very essential, was the NPL ICS, NPL certification scheme for the environmental pollution and the industrial emission measurements. The environmental pollution still remains a key challenge. As we know, in the world, one of the biggest problems is the climate change. Now, nobody can deny that climate change is not an issue. And the climate change is occurring because of the large CO2 emissions. The measurement of the environmental pollutant is very key. And for that, the measuring or the monitoring equipment, they need to be calibrated and certified. And that was the National Clean Air Project of the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forest. They supported us, and that is the area where we should speed up our efforts. The metrology again is the backbone of the industrial growth. The reproducible, reliable equipment, let it be in the health sector, let it be in scientific equipment sectors, that need to be ensured. So I was having one statistics. India, we have got 140 crore population, but the number of scientists per million is very low. It is only 250. So India has got only roughly 250 scientists per million of the population. The other parameter for our industry is the manufacturing value added term. It means that when you produce a product, how much net earning India gets is roughly $300. So both the sides, the less number of scientists per million and the low MVA per capita per year is low from the industrial product point of view. And one of the reasons for that is that we do not produce the indigenous technologies. So if you want to grow the number of scientists in this country, let us say from 250 to somewhere 1,300 in China and roughly 4,000 in developed nations like Japan, UK and America, we need to provide the high-end equipments to our students. We have large number of graduate students in the country. The number of graduate students in India are as equal to as of population of many small countries. So what our responsibility is that can we convert them into the scientific community? And to convert into scientific community these graduates or undergraduates, the requirement is that we should build in our own equipment. So there are two ways. One is that we develop our own, but then that is equivalent to reinventing the wheel. The second one is we invite the foreign manufacturers, make a joint ventures and start manufacturing at low cost in India. And that kind of initiative we have taken that time at NPL. Very next to us is the Ambala Kent, which is known for the scientific equipment manufacturing. Can we strengthen them? They were ready. We have given them the metrological traceability. On the other end, we have a large number of MSMEs. These MSMEs are very, very good. Unfortunately, one of the biggest problem with them is the measurement traceability. And if we deal with these two ends, academia and the industry, and that is interfaced by the measurement institutes like NPL, I think we can realize the dream of Honorable Prime Minister, where we want to go the 5 trillion economy in a very quick time. And for that, definitely, as a citizen of India, not only for a scientist, but as a citizen of India, we should utilize that opportunity. And since the Metrology Society of India and the metrologists in the country, they have the understanding of that measurement traceability, how to ensure the accuracy and precision of our measurements. So This International Conference on Advance in Metrology probably is one of the that offered by MSI to communicate our ideas to the common public, to the scientific community. So that is one end where we want to tackle with the undergraduate student, making them scientists, and for that we have to build instruments. The MSME ensure their productivity is better, they make a good quality product. The digital era, which we are already in, the next important part is, which is the interface between human and machines. The tough job will not be done now by the human. So the human need to be interfaced with the machines. So that is called HMI, human machine interfacing. And that requires the digital SI to be implemented as soon as possible. Good efforts are being done at the BIPM level. And therefore, MSI and NPL, of course, that is the two sides of the same coin. We have to work upon the HMI, human machine interfaces. How to ensure that we remain at par with the international communities. Of course, more detail today evening I will tell you how fascinating is this world, and the planet is the lonely planet. You know, as of now, we don't have to go anywhere other than this planet. We have got many problems. What are those problems? How we are going to change that? What are the possible options from 500 from here, 1,000 years later, maybe 10,000 years later? So human being, the scientific community, we have to have the very, very long vision. Once again, I welcome you all for this ADMET 2022. I hope you will enjoy these deliberations, which are being made by many international experts, our own experts from India. But the message is clear. We need to propagate the dissemination of meteorological capability of NPL to each and everyone, not only in the country, but rest of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your warm words of welcome and enriching words. Now I invite Dr. Sanjay Yadav, sir, to say a few words about the conference. Dr. Sanjay Yadav is the Vice President of MSI and Conference Chair of this event, ADMET 2022. He is the Chief Scientist and Head of Physico-Mechanical Metrology Division at CSIR NPL. He is working as Editor-in-Chief of MAPAN, Secretary, Metrology Society of India, and had been nominated as Editorial Board Member, International Journal of Metrology and Quality Engineering, France. He is a fellow member of many international committees. Recently, he has been awarded the most prestigious APMP Award for the Developing Economies. I invite Dr. Sanjay Yadav, sir, to say a few words.
Good morning to all. And as a conference chair, first of all, my apology for the last minute some changes. Respected Grover sir, our chief guest, Professor Venugopal Chanta, who has always been instrumental to organize this conference. I know last 2-3 days, myself and Jaiswal could not sleep. It was a huge work, and Dr. Achanta has phenomenally supported us. Dr. Aswal, as usual, is our mentor, and he has always given push to this conference, and same for Professor Asan Gupta, who is also our former president, and some of these stalwarts on metrology are sitting in the August gathering. I salute to all of them that this conference, I could find time today to I have learned from you, and now I'm addressing you. So it is a greatest honor for me today as Vice President of MSI and Conference Chair. I will not repeat much about the importance of metrology, but a few things I would like to read. As mentioned, NPL is our NMI through established through Act of Parliament, and CSR has served the Indian industry, academia, strategic sector, and to achieve growth and excellence for being competitive in global market. It maintains international equivalence of the standard by way of intercomparison. CSR NPL, being the NMI, is the member of the Meter Convention, signatory of mutual recognition arrangement of International Committee of Weights and Measure, and founder member of Asia Pacific Metrology Program, that is APMP. It also has the responsibility for maintaining the traceability of measurement standards through bilateral and international comparisons, and implementing quality system in the laboratory, registering and getting approval of CMC, which are registered on BIPM website, and which is translated into the industrial growth through dissemination of traceability to Indian manufacturer and all other stakeholders. As pointed out by Dr. Aswal, metrology society is playing a pivotal role along with the NPL. I always say there is no existence of metrology society without NPL, and of course NPL is always as our NMI and beloved organization. We always keep National Physical Laboratory at the top, and without support, no activity of metrology can grow in the country. So it was felt a need by the scientists, engineers, technicians working in industrial calibration testing laboratories, scientific research organizations, National Metrology Institutes, Weights and Measure Department, QCI, NABL, Defense Laboratory, STQC, IOSOR, NABL auditors, technical university and institutes, students, all together that we should come together. And that's why this umbrella of Metrology Society was established by Registration of Society Act 1860 on 1st January 1984, with the aim to promote and disseminate metrology and its various aspects. The society is having more than 2,000 members at present, and it corresponds to the interest of the member and organizing meeting in a regular basis. And that's why this event is one of the flagship events. Metrology Society is also publishing an SCI journal, which is now recognized by internationally, and its all-time impact factor is just this year 1.446, which is which is you will not find many in Asia Pacific region with this impact factor. In this conference, 25 best papers will be published in the special issue of MAPAN, and a committee has been formed for this purpose. And the rest of the paper, along with the Springer, after a proper review process, we have received a tremendous response. So those papers will be considered through a review process in proceeding, which is EI Compedex and Scopus database index through Springer after this conference. All the participants whose paper is advised to submit, they can submit through editorial manager system of Mapan and as well as easy chair system for the conference proceedings. Now, few words about the ADMET. NPL and MSI have been organizing this ADMET series of national and international conferences. The International Conference on Advanced Metrology, one of the major events organized by NPL and MSI after every 3 years initially. The first conference was organized in 1986 as metrology for, in relation to environment. And thereafter, in 99, it was MQGT. And then after every 2 years, conference was organized as MMGT in 2001, 2003, 2005, APMP General Assembly and ADMET in 2006, in 2009, International Conference. Then in 2010, one decision was taken that this conference should go to the different part of the country. And then we started organizing national ADMET conference. And accordingly, the first national conference was organized in CMTI Bangalore. And then 2011, 2012, we have organized in IRI Pune. 2013, again, international conference at NPLI. 2014, it was Thapar University, Patiala. And 2015, it was national conference in CMRI, Durgapur. And 2016, we have come to NPL as international conference, which was a huge success. And in 2017, MSI in association with NPLI organized APMP General Assembly, and it was a huge success, and more than 400 delegates from abroad attended that meeting. And in 2018, we could not organize due to pandemic some conference, but in 2019, we again organized international conference. And in 2020, with the National Foundation Day, we organized a national conference, sixth national conference at NPL. And seventh national conference was organized at MSIT Delhi, Janakpuri, and Dr. KP Chaudhary was instrumental for that conference. So after going through this in 2021, again 2022, we are here assembled for this ADMET conference. So various dignitaries who have opened, declared these type of conferences include Professor Ramu Murthy, Secretary DST, Professor R. Chitambram, Dr. Anil Katodkarji, scientific advisors, former scientific advisor, Dr. Martin Milton, Director BIPM, Dr. Ulrich, PTB President, Dr. Walton Koppen, NIST, Director NIST USA, and Deputy Secretary Ministry of Commerce, and also Secretary Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Sri A.K. Srivastav earlier. The current international conference in ADMET series, more than 500 participants are expected from different part of the world who are presenting papers. And the 5-day event included 2 days pre-ADMET workshops, which were extremely successful last 2 days. And in this 3 days international conference, in the history of ADMET series of conferences, this time we have received overwhelming response from the contributor as well as our sponsors. So I'm thankful to all of them. We have received all-time high technical aspect that is comprises of 1 keynote address, 2 plenary talks, 1 popular evening lecture, 28 invited talks, 12 oral presentation, 5 company presentation, and 230 poster presentation. I know I can be blamed for not accommodating a few of the invited talks, but kindly bear with me. We have tried our best to accommodate as much as possible in this limited time. All this is arranged in 10 technical sessions, 3 poster sessions, and 1 inaugural and valedictory function. In the last few words, I will say a few words about some of the illuminating talks being organized. On the instances of our Professor Venugopalji, this year he has advised us to go for the international expert, that we should learn and listen from them what is happening all along the world, so that the maximum we can cover for those experts. So Dr. Takashi Usuda will be delivering this keynote address in this session. 2 plenary talks are none other than the Dr. Martin Milton, Director VIPM, and 1 on digital metrology and digital SI, Professor Sase from PTV Germany. Because main thing is that now digital SI and quantum metrology all together, we cannot escape from the digitalization of metrology, and all over the world we are working all NMIs are working on digital SI. So few talks we have arranged on digital SI, like Professor Sase and Dr. Blair Hull from New Zealand. He is also a stalwart in digital SI, and Professor Jack Gust, who is very known figure in quality system, and he will be speaking something about digitalization and digital dissemination and traceability and quality system. Then we have DEC chairman, Dr. Angela, who she will be delivering her talk, and then 3 eminent vice chancellors are part of this conference. Today they might have not come, but I have been informed that they will be attending in this valedictory function. And many international and national experts from France, Australia, USA, and a list is long. You will see when this abstract book will be released, all the details. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I am here because of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving an insight about the various activities under ADMET 2022 and MSI. Now we have Professor Asan Gupta, former President MSI and former Director CSIR NPL, to grace this occasion with his kind words. He has been mainly engaged with time and frequency activities and established first cesium fountain clock. He is a fellow of various renowned international and national societies. He was awarded prestigious O.P. Bhasin Foundation Award for his outstanding contribution in science and technology in the field of electronics and information technology. Please, sir.
As you know, I'm unscheduled speaker, a last minute addition, so I don't have a prepared speech, unfortunately. Dr. Aswal, Dr. Sandhya, Dr. Deswal, my assigned member, elected delegates to the conference. It's a great honor for me to be called upon to say a few words. As I said, I don't have a prepared speech, and as was just given in the introduction here, that I have spent all of my career in working on time and frequency standards. Now, time is one of the very important things, as Dr. Aswal just pointed out, that we must be extremely careful about this precise time, accurate time, and so on. So as a metrologist, it makes me very uncomfortable if we preach a lot of precision metrology, but don't practice in real life. As you can make out, we are already running way behind schedule, and I don't want to contribute to it. So I think I'll not say much more than what I've said. I was actually going to say a few words about the genesis of the ADMET conferences, but I think Sanjay has already given a long list of the conferences that preceded ADMET. And I think there were a few inaccuracies. I could point them out, but I think I won't. I'll privately mention that to Sanjay later on. We started, and I think from those very early times, there are only a few of us that survive here. Dr. Banerjee here, Reena, Dr. Ojha and Putnana, and a few of us survived from the very early days. And we worked very hard in the initial years, and the conferences were named different names, MMGT, MQGT, and so on and so forth, finally culminating in a standard name called ADMET. I think the names got attached to this conference in 2001, somewhere, not 2003. So we had the first ADMET conference in 2001 and followed by ADMET 2003. I remember this exactly because I was the convener of ADMET 2001 and 2003, the work that Sanjay is handling now. So thank you all very much. And I think we have a very mature ADMET conference, as Sanjay has just mentioned. And we have participants from all over the world, extremely eminent metrologists, our friends from the industry, young graduate students, as Dr. Aswal has pointed out. So I think we have matured into a very nice series of conferences called ADMET. Every 2 years, we have national ADMET followed by an international ADMET every 3rd year. And I wish all these conferences a great success. It's again a great honor for the organizers to call upon me to give an invited talk. I was very reluctant to do it. I think it should be given to younger people who are actual practitioners, but they insisted. So I'm going to, in the next session, just give some very elementary description of what I'm doing in recent times that's related with metrology. So one final thing, I think this is going to be the last major event by Sanjay Yadav before he superannuates and becomes one of our club of former NPL scientists. So I've been, associated with Sanjay for a very long time, and I'm really pleased and proud to see him blossom into a leadership role that he has acquired in recent times. And also Sanjay's contributions towards MSI in general and MAPAN in particular are exemplary. I think he's done a fantastic work, and I have no hesitation on giving him my best wishes for the future, Sanjay. So not taking any more of your time, once again, welcome all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening this event with your kind presence. Now we have our presidential address by Honorable Professor A.K. Grover, ex-Vice Chancellor, Punjab University, and Chairman of Research Council of CSIR NPM. Professor A.K. Grover is a PhD from TIFR and University of Mumbai in 1979 and did his postdoc from Imperial College, London. He has been awarded various recognitions like Research Award for Foreign Specialists by Government of Japan, Homi Bhabha Science and Technology Award of BARC, Material Research Society of India, and has been an elected member of various academic programs. He has joined online for this conference. So I now request Professor A.K. Grover, sir, to enrich this gathering with his kind words.
Sir, आप please unmute yourself, sir. Sir, can you hear me?
अच्छा वहीं पे जाके ना पिन करना है वहाँ पे जाके नहीं यहाँ से ठीक है बोल हाँ
अरे नहीं भाई ज्यादा
ज्यादा
Sir, can you hear? Can you hear me? I can hear you. No. यहाँ से तो नहीं आ रहा
नहीं तो दिक्कत होगा
I can hear you very clearly.
हाँ
लैपटॉप में आ रहा है तो लैपटॉप के आगे माइक रख
नहीं लैपटॉप में नहीं इसमें आ रहा है मतलब उसमें आ रहा है वहाँ से ठीक है
चलो करो बोलो
Sir, बोलिए sir, can you hear and now is it okay? No.
We can hear you, just tell him that we are unable to hear, you should come here.
नहीं वो यहाँ से वो नहीं है उनका आवाज
वहाँ से
माइक के पास आके बोलिए.
Sir, can you come near to the mic and speak? We are not able to hear you.
hello
Yeah, sir.
you hear me now
Better.
hello morning all
Sir, are you using microphone of laptop or desktop?
Can you hear me now?
yes
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue, sir.
So good morning all. I am grateful to Director NPL for enabling me to join this very important event online. I had planned to be away several months ago during this time on a personal visit to America, so I apologize for not being physically present on the occasion of the 11th International Conference on Advances in Metrology, which is happening in the background of India having completed 75 years of independence and concurrently NPL also having completed the 75 years. So this conference, as we have been all told, is organized jointly by the National Physical Laboratory and the Metrology Society of India. And fortunately for us, along with the director NPL, we have the president of the MSI, the former director of NPL, as well as the former president of MSI, Professor Asan Gupta, also with us on this important occasion. As we have been all told, a large number of participants have registered for this meeting, and we are going to have very important and interesting presentations from the leaders of metrology from all across India. The very first talk is going to be delivered by none other than the Director General of NMIJ from Japan, and these will be followed by talks by iconic speakers from BIPM and PTB. So let me wish all of you a very interesting meeting It's going to be a long meeting. We already had 2 days of pre-meeting, and this meeting is going to last for next 5 days. And I hope it would be very beneficial for the young scientists of NPL as well as the PhD students who have come from all over India to participate in this international meeting, which is held once in 3 years by, by National Physical Laboratory. In view of the fact that we are already delayed in the conduct of this session, let me conclude my greetings at here only, and I wish you all the best for this important conference which has been organized after the pandemic in the physical mode. Thank you very much, and I once again apologize for not being physically present at New Delhi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Now, I would like to introduce our chief guest of today's event, Honorable Director, sir, Professor Dr. Venugopal Ajanta. He joined CSIR NPL as director in June 2021. Professor Ajanta did his PhD from TIFR on excitone dynamics in low-dimensional semiconductors. He was also awarded PhD in electronics engineering from Tokyo University for work on design and demonstration of an ultra-fast all-optical switch. He joined TIFR as faculty in 2004, where he was a professor since 2018.
Thank you. Thank you. On the delegation with us and those who are online, and also all the invited speakers. I'm supposed to welcome you all, but got elevated to this chief guest position. It's because we had the secretary is unfortunately not well, so he can be here with us. And DG, so she has a cabinet meeting today, so that's how like all these last minute adjustments are made as per the Delhi tradition. So this doesn't happen in past and so, so just on that lighter note, I'd like to start and say that one of the advantages of having a series of conferences like ADMET is that we can always benchmark ourselves. Like every 2 years, every 3 years, we know what we have done, where we stand from the last 3 years before, and and accelerate ourselves. So this is a very unique opportunity for all of us to benchmark ourselves and then keep our pace up. Right? So that way, like the series of conferences are very important. ADMET is essential in the context after 2019 with the new definitions accepted. Like so, we have this quantum metrology and more recently the digital metrology. So they're coming up in big way throughout the world, and we need to learn and be part of the development team rather than the good old consumers buying the equipment, bringing them here, and then setting up facilities here. So this is where we have an opportunity as a growing economy for our own development, for indigenization, which the government is strongly pushing us to do as scientists and as innovators. Like we have an opportunity here to contribute into the future. That if we miss this bus, it's again like another 10 years from now, 20 years from now, oh, we miss the semiconductor bus, we miss some other bus, like so we miss this bus. So like let's not do that. Let's not wipe our hands after we get our hands burned, but let us act now and take this opportunity to learn from our peers from around the world who have been working on these technologies for quite some time. Dr. Aswal has mentioned a few of these where we need to, these are the focus areas for us at NPL and in India, like the BNDs. From the pollution point of view, environment. So we need to look at global solutions to local problems. So first we need to identify what our local challenges, local problems are, and then identify what we can bring in as technopreneurs as well as scientists within the country. NPL is unique because we are part of the CSR family. It gives us an opportunity to interact with industry, it's not a blue sky research which we do here. So we cannot say that, okay, we are doing basic R&D, right? So we don't want to do anything to that black box generation or making a device. Right. So as part of the CSR team, like with the industrial research as one of the mandates of the organization, so we need to look at developing technologies in addition to what is happening in the labs. And physics basic research is something which is close to our heart. Without that, we cannot do any progress or any technology development for the future. So basic R&D is the core where we need to focus. That is our strength, materials, and if you can use those materials for metrology, that will be the best. What we can do as a logical extension to our activities and our mandate. So as an NMI, yes, we have the third hat where we should make these standards made and available. So we need to overcome certain challenges in case of BNDs or other sectors. So we need to, for example, like so bringing the CSR system labs together, working with them, and as well as the other three pillars of the quality infrastructure within the country. For example, the BIS, the QCI, or the legal metrology teams, working together with them. And the challenge is like getting identified that like we are equally qualified as a fourth pillar, right? So we help them, all our staff are involved in their activities, but the reciprocation has to come from there. That is something which we need to fight for if they're not naturally coming out. This is something where we should look at and focus and look for the future technologies and developments, especially in the areas of metrology, which eventually will be useful for our own industrial growth as well as development of the country. So with this, I would like to thank and congratulate the organizing team once again for making this ADMET possible. We had air and noise pollution workshop last 2 days. So, and we'll have an exhibition with our industry partners after this session. So I look forward to having a very invigorating and learning exercise during this segment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for address this gathering with your kind words. Now we have our keynote speaker, Dr. Takashi Usuda, Director General of the National Metrology Institute of Japan and Executive Officer of National Institute for Advanced Industrial Science and Technology, to deliver a keynote address. During his career, spanning more than 25 years at the NMI Japan, he published more than 80 papers in the areas of mechanical metrology, photometry, laser interferometry, and dynamic measurement. He served as APMP Executive Secretary from 2002 to 2005. He had been invited as a guest researcher position at PTB, at CNRS, and at BIPM. I welcome you, sir, here. I think he has joined online.
एक बार उनसे कहिए वो अपने आप को अनम्यूट करें ताकाशी जी, इसको पिन करना होगा। कौन सा ये देखो तीन हेलो Takashi sir, please unmute yourself. Hello. Takashi sir, please unmute yourself.
Sir, please unmute yourself. We are not able to see you, sir.
Video on करो। Video तो ना
उन्होंने दिया हो लेक्चर ऑन कर लीजिए, रन कर लीजिए।
अच्छा उनको नहीं आना है,
लेक्चर ऑन कर लीजिए।
लेक्चर कौन सा है?
वीडियो मैंने दिया ना फोल्डर में सुबह।
अच्छा वो दिया है आपने?
हाँ
तो उधर है।
लेक्चर
So please unmute yourself. Are you there, sir?
यहाँ से साउंड म्यूट कर कितने
भाई मैंने बताया ना, साउंड जो भी है इस लैपटॉप से जाएगा।
ऑलरेडी यहाँ पे साउंड
तो खोलो ना, यहाँ पे प्रेजेंटेशन के खोलो ना उनका, यहाँ से जाएगा भाई, वहां से कुछ नहीं जाने वाला। वहां तो सिर्फ लैपटॉप रखा है।
नहीं वो भी लाइव है, लाइव दोनों लाइव। वो आशीष सर की आईडी से लाइव है, जब स्विगी की आईडी से
लाइव है, ये रिकॉर्डिंग है,
लाइव है।
ये रिकॉर्डिंग है भाई।
इनकी रिकॉर्डिंग है ना वीडियो, ये
हाँ।
जो हम प्ले कर रहे हैं ना टीम से, दोनों सिस्टम से गेट, दोनों सिस्टम से live है।
नहीं भाई, समझो बात, मैं क्या कहना चाह रहा हूँ, समझो। अपना अब यहाँ चलाओ, वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ इतनी देर से।
यहाँ पे
कौन सा वीडियो?
ये वाला है टॉप।
हाँ, यहाँ से चलाओ, वहाँ से कोई ऑडियो नहीं आने
सही
वाला।
वाला। इसमें खोल कर
हाँ चलाओ अब इसको।
तो शेयर करो।
पहले प्ले कर लो थोड़ा, देखो आवाज आ रही।
इसलिए तो है।
आवाज फुल करना।
आ जाएगी, यहाँ से चलाओ, आ गई ना।
शेयर कर दो।
We have this recorded video with us. Let us.
नहीं है।
अरे ये करो भाई, मैं कुछ अभी ये सब वही कर
different levels relating to digital transformation, such as setting up a study group or task forces, developing a roadmap, organizing a workshop, conducting projects on digital SI, such sort of digital calibration certificate, DCC, etc. The most important issue is resource when we do something new. This pie chart shows whether you have personnel working on DX or not. 2/3 of institutes have DX staffs in some extent among those who answered. They have scientists, engineers working on data science, computer technologies, and IT. One NMI who responded doesn't have specialized personnel, but some of their employees have IT literacy. Among them, some NMIs have or to have a program funding for DX. Especially one NMI has received the budget to set up Metrology system online. We also asked priority of DX topics identified as digital SI, DCC, Digital Calibration Certificate, digitalization of ISO IC, traceable algorithm under DX, remote calibration and metrology cloud. Digital SI and DCC are prioritized in many NMIs. Many NMIs have not placed remote embedded calibration technologies at first priority, but gave higher priority. Most NMIs agree to develop the most basic concepts, such like digital SI and DCC in DX, first to develop more advanced applications. We should note that we also need strict definition of each topic. What is digital SI? What is metrology cloud? I will talk about another survey which was conducted from August to September 2021. I think some of you responded to the survey. This survey covers the impact by pandemic and expected activities after the pandemic, such as remote activities, potential needs, DX status, and concerns, so on. Responses of 9 institutes from APMP from members, in total 47 institutes, responded. Hereafter, I call this survey as the second survey. From here, I provide some figures from the second survey. The graph shows the answer to the question, when was the worst situation at your institute occurred due to the COVID? The below is the COVID-19 cases reported in a WHO document. Most institutes said there was the worst situation at early 2020. Especially there is a peak at April to June 2020. At that time, the first wave of the pandemic was occurred. The first survey was conducted somewhat after the first peak of the pandemic. Then half a year later, the second survey was conducted. COVID-19 forces to NMIs to hold international meetings and peer reviews online. This slide shows the response to the question concerning the advantages and disadvantages concerning online peer reviews. From the result of this picture, we see that most of all NMIs consider that the remote peer review provided benefits to NMIs in terms of the reduction of the cost and time for transportation. This is a positive side of the international activities by online. However, from the next picture, there are different aspects by region. We see that European NMI community, namely Euramet, does not consider the time difference is problem, while APMP, our region, strongly consider that the time difference is problem. We should note that online activities introduce another digital divide by region in terms of time difference. After the pandemic, so-called new normal, we expect drastic change in terms of economical, political, technical transformations. However, we see that the most prioritized activity is to develop measurement technologies. This is quite natural as our core mission as NMI is to develop and deliver the metrology standards. Of course, digital SI and related technologies are strongly related to NMI activities, but they are methodology, not the objectives of NMI. Here is our interim conclusions concerning the digitalization and online activities among our NMI community. We also see from the survey that no concrete role of NMI assigned yet for digital transformation. DCC, Digital Calibration Certificate, is one common image among NMIs, but other concrete applications of DX are not clear yet. COVID-19 forces to work online, and many NMIs to take this as a chance to promote DX. NMIs are facing difficulties regarding resources by means of budget and manpower. The third topic of my talk is to introduce of the AIST and its recent policies for green growth strategy. Before I talk about the issue, let me introduce our organization, AIST, National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology. AIST is the largest national science institute in Japan, including 7 technical disciplines, such as energy and environment, life science, information technology, materials, electronics, geological survey, and metrology. Our core mission is to enable sustainable society by integrating those technologies. From here, let me introduce some of the activities at AIST that are conducting to Japan's recently announced green growth strategy, achieving carbon neutrality in 2050, Global Zero Emission Center, and international collaborations. In October 2020, Prime Minister Suga at that time declared Japan's intention to aim for carbon neutrality by 2050. In light of this announcement, the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, METI, formulated the Green Growth Strategy through achieving carbon neutrality. The Green Growth Strategy is an industrial policy which aims to create a positive cycle of economic growth and environmental protection together with the business community. The aim is to set ambitious goals and fully support the private sector's efforts toward carbon neutrality. Reaching carbon neutrality by 2050 means radically changing our energy usage. In 2018, Japan emitted around 1 billion tons of CO2. By 2050, this number should be reduced to zero by dramatically reducing our CO2 emissions and balancing the remaining emissions with carbon capture. In addition to the continuous development of technologies to reduce energy consumption by improving energy efficiency, AIST's main contributions to the green growth strategy are highlighted in red in the figure, namely development of innovative battery technologies for the promotion of electrification, development of hydrogen and other non-carbon-based fuels, such as ammonia for the reduction of fossil fuel use, implementation of carbon capture, usage and storage, namely CCUS, technologies for efficient removal of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. AIST is promoting research towards carbon neutrality at several of our institutes. Centered on the Global Zero Emission Research Center, GZR, in collaboration with the Fukushima Renewable Energy Research Center, FLARE, and the Kansai Center. The Global Emission Research Center, GZR, was established in January 2020 and is headed by recent Nobel laureate Dr. Yoshino Akira. A new research base in Tsukuba has been completed. To further stimulate this research, GZR is also actively pursuing international collaboration through various initiatives such as RG20. Here, I will explain in a bit more details about the activities of the GZR and associated international collaborations. GZR is working towards integration of a group of low-carbon technologies that can significantly reduce carbon dioxide emissions. These terms cover all the areas mentioned before where AIST is working towards carbon neutrality. This figure shows how the various research themes can come together to deliver a substantial reduction in greenhouse gas emissions based on hydrogen technology and CCUS technologies. In hydrogen technology, we have established an integrated research system on technologies for hydrogen production by renewable energy, storage, transportation, and power generation. As part of our work in CCUS technology, we have successfully developed a catalyst for methanol synthesis from CO2 with innovative low-temperature reaction. In addition, we are also undertaking research in artificial photosynthesis to convert solar energy to chemical energy as a form of hydrogen and functional molecules for practical applications. Global collaboration is essential to our R&D efforts towards a decarbonized society. RD20, Research and Development 20 for Clean Energy Technologies, has been held yearly since 2019 and gathered together the heads of leading R&D institutes from G20 members. It is hosted by AIST and provides participants an opportunity for exchanging R&D activities and experiences, best practices and ideas related to current and emerging issues associated with green energy technologies. Lastly, I would like to introduce recent activities at NMIJ AIST for enabling sustainable society. As you know, not only in Japan or at AIST, the sustainable society is our key subject. As we can see many surveys and reports concerning those subjects in each country, region, or urban and rural cities. Among the subjects, maintenance of infrastructures is one of the very important urgent issues in developed countries. There are a lot of infrastructures which have installed in 60s to 80s which have to be inspected due to its aging. Here are some examples of the disasters. In 2012, concrete ceiling panels of tunnel at highway were suddenly collapsed in Japan. In 2017, a fire incident was occurred at oil factory in Wakayama, Japan. A fire broke out inside the tank during cleaning work for tank maintenance. In 2018, a 210 meters section of Pont Morardi was collapsed in Italy. The bridge was undergoing maintenance at that time of the collapse. However, most current inspections for social and industrial infrastructures are essentially based on visual observation. These methods are time-consuming and high-cost. Development of novel inspection technology with easy implementation and high reliability is desired. With this background and social demand, AIST established Research Laboratory for Sustainable Infrastructures in 2020. I will introduce the activities of this laboratory and recent achievements. One of the novel technology that AIST had developed is a carbon nanotubed X-ray source. The features of this key device are cold cathode, field electron emission, no heater required, no preheating required, power saving, fast rise and fall, pulse drive possible. It can be operated with a battery, achieves high output and long life. Thus, it enables battery operation with portable components. The other key technology developed at AIST is large-scale high-resolution flat panel X-ray imaging sensor. The features of the device are high resolution with low leak, which means high sensitivity. Also low noise, high dynamic range with 16-bit DA post-processing. Available for long-time dosing. Optimized by material and detector. Employing these components, the laboratory established portable inspection system for X-ray imaging. This picture shows schematical view of the system. Testing object is located between the X-ray source and the flat detection panel. Thanks for the high sensitivity and large detection area of the flat panel, as well as the enough power of the X-ray from the source, it can inspect even thick iron object within 0.5 seconds. Here is the exposure image of a cast iron bulb, which thickness is about 5 centimeters. You can see the internal structure of the bulb clearly. The next slide shows an example how to support IT and automation in visualization of strain, displacement, and defect. The upper two pictures show the inspection of defects in metal plate employing laser ultrasonic excitation and detection. The defect can be identified automatically by AI. The lower two pictures show visual and information processing employing high-resolution digital camera and MOIR imaging. This technique enables non-contact and large-scale inspection of displacement of structures. The technique also enables static and dynamic displacement measurement. These pictures show the displacement of a concrete bridge, maximum displacement 8 mm, and dynamic displacement detection at Shinkansen, max displacement is 1 mm. This may allow low cost and periodic and daily maintenance of railroads. We employed a drone with high-resolution video camera to inspect the deformation of a bridge. You see a bridge which across a wider river. Normally, it is very difficult to inspect the deformation of the bridge under such geographical conditions. Of course, it is difficult to fix the position of the drone. It is hovering but slightly deviated by wind, you see. Here is drone trying to hovering but somewhat deviated by the wind. So we employed a reference marker at the end of the pillars of the bridge. Those two reference markers, which are regarded as fixed points, can compensate the motion of the drone. Finally, we employed the millimeter level resolution of the deformation of the bridge caused by traffic. As you have seen, employing component level and system level technologies at NMRG AIST, we will develop necessary technologies for sustainable society. That's all of my talk. Thank you very much for your kind attention and congratulations for the success of ADMET 2022.
Thank you, sir, for your knowledge and wisdom sharing words. Now I request Dr. D.K. Aswal, sir, President MSI, to felicitate our chief guest, Professor Venugopal Achanta, sir, with a shawl and memento.
शेयर करो
ये है ना
नहीं टीम पे नहीं
Now I again request Dr. D.K. Aswal, sir, to felicitate our former President MSI, Professor Asan Gupta, sir, with a commemorative shawl and memento. I now request Dr. Sanjay Yadav, sir, Conference Chair of ADMET 2022, to felicitate our President MSI, Dr. D.K. Aswal, sir.
बहुत हो पाएंगे
Thank you, sir. Taking this program forward, now I request our chief guest and other dignitaries on the dais to release the abstract book ADMET 2022.
वो बुक कराओ
भी आ रहा है ना, इसमें आ रहा है ना।
उसका इमेज है, देख लीजिए।
इसमें एक और बुक है ना।
इमेज दी है ना।
I further request our chief guest and other dignitaries to release the proceedings of last ADVET 2021 published through Springer Nature. I would request Ms. Priya, if she is there from Springer,
अच्छा इसी
to
में
come on the stage for this
आगे
book
देख
reading.
ये है।
रुकिए रुकिए, अभी वो होने दीजिए फिर। अच्छा खाली फिल्म कर सकते हैं तो ये फिल्म अभी थोड़ा ओपन करेंगे अभी।
क्या
फिल्म कर सकते हैं साइड में।
स्टफ शेयर करो।
नहीं नहीं, ये अलग
स्टफ शेयर करो। दूसरा हो। दूसरा क्या लगाता है?
हाँ इसको कंफर्म नहीं किया था तो कोई नहीं।
ऐसे बड़ा करते ना इसको।
This year we are expecting 2 volumes.
ऊपर वाला।
Yes, sir. Please stay there. Now it's an honor for me to announce that we have a technology transfer by CSIR NPL to SRK Instruments. SRK Instruments is considered among the praiseworthy wholesaler, manufacturer, importer, and trader of excellent quality ultrasonic products. The technology is based on ultrasonic pulse velocity tester device with threshold error correction. So I invite all the team members from CSIR NPL and SRK Instruments to come on the stage. Dr. P.K. Dubey, Dr. Sanjay Yadav, Mr. Ravinder Kumar, and Mr. Piyush from CSIR NPL and from SRK Instruments. And Dr. Kushestra from BDG and Dr. Neeraj. This ultrasonic pulse velocity tester is an extremely useful equipment for concrete structural quality assessment and grading according to IS 516. The development system is improved in many aspects and is as per ASTM C597 requirements. The novelties of the device have been covered by filing both Indian and US patent. Thank you all. Now I request Dr. S.K. Jaiswal sir, convener of this event and head fluid flow metrology, to present the vote of thanks.
Very good morning to all of you. As a convener of this ADMET 2022 conference, it is my responsibility to propose vote of thanks. It gives me immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks at the inaugural function of 11th International Conference on Advances in Metrology, ADMET 2022. We are extremely grateful to Professor Venugopal Ajanta, Director NPL, for accepting our invitation at very short notice, I will say, because last minute change for gracing this occasion and addressing the gathering. Sir, thank you very much for your encouraging words. We are highly thankful to our keynote speaker of today's function, Dr. Takashi Suda, Director General NMIT Japan, for his acceptance to our invitation and giving a very enlightening talk on the application of metrology for sustainable development of the society, which is really a need in current scenario for safe and betterment of our life. We also extend our heartfelt thanks to our RC Chairman, Professor A.K. Grover, for his presence and constant guidance in all our endeavors. Our heartfelt thanks to our President of MSI, Dr. D.K. Aswal, for his presence and grace this occasion. Sir, your address is always very motivating for us, and we look forward for your such guidance in future also. We also thank Dr. A.K. Gupta, former President of MSI, for his brief introduction about MSI and his time and frequency activities. We all know that such an event like this cannot happen without the proper guidance and support. I would like to express my sincere thanks to our director, Professor Venugopal Ajanta, for his constant guidance, direction, and encouragement, which was backed by a team of dedicated colleagues of mine. So my sincere thanks are due to them also. My sincere thanks to Dr. Sanjay Yadav, Chairman of this ADMET 2022 conference and Vice President of MSI, for his brief introduction about MSI and its various activities. I also thank to our all International Advisory Committee, National Advisory Committee, and LOC members for their constant support and guidance to organize this program successfully. We would like to thank our all sponsors of this conference for their financial support and showcasing of their latest technology in this exhibition. This time, we didn't get any request for any financial support from government agency, and all this program is due to the sponsorship from the sponsorship and registration money. So really thankful to all sponsors of this program. I am also thankful to all invited guest speakers and participants present here in the auditorium and also in online mode for their valuable time with us to grace the occasion. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the supporting section of NPL like auditorium, horticulture, electrical and air conditioning, cafeteria, administration, finance and accounts, and HLS for their kind support to make this event run smoothly and successfully. Now I invite you all for the inauguration of the conference exhibition just in front of this auditorium, followed by high tea. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I also request you all for a group photograph in front of the auditorium, which will be followed by a high tea at AR Verma lawn. We all are requested. You all are requested to assemble bags at 11:45 a.m. for the first technical session of this event. First, we have a group photograph.
Recording is उसको शेयर तो रखा है ना पीपीटी।
स्टॉप रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहा हूँ।
कितनी देर लगेगी? तो मोर पे जाओ ना।
अरे मैं इधर कर रहा हूँ ना, वहाँ तुम्हें दिख रहा है ये स्टॉप रिकॉर्डिंग मेरे पास है ये।
अच्छा वो तो वहाँ का
वो तो वहाँ का दिख रहा है ना।